All right, then I will call the meeting to order at 7:02, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Scott, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Your first board meeting, usually calling board members, but give you a good welcome. First, we have agenda review. Superintendent Liberty, do you have anything to add to the agenda?
I do not.
I have one item. We received a request from the New Hampshire School Funding Fairness Project about an event that they'd like to have in conjunction with our school board. So I'm going to add that as a subsection C to the chairperson's report for us to have discussion and potential action on. Is there any board members who have something to add to the agenda?
Could I add to the agenda, if I can get a second? General discussion on perhaps adopting the fiscal oversight that's described in the Windows on Finances from the New Hampshire School Board Association.
Seeing no second.
Okay.
Wait, I'll second.
Further discussion? I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
I'll let him talk.
The landscape has changed quite a bit since you and I joined your board. With the advent of Claremont, and the New Hampshire School Board Association has put on an excellent class that teaches about the fact that not only do we set budgets, but now since Claremont, there's a much greater emphasis on fiscal oversight and how to do it properly. And I'm talking about following the New Hampshire School Boards Association's, recommendations. I would highly recommend anybody watching it. It's hour and a half, 2 hours. And it's eye-opening. It's very educational. I think you would probably see us reviewing documents or reviewing fiscal information on probably a monthly basis as far as best practices. And, I would highly recommend us taking a step towards adopting.
Okay, where on the agenda, is this a discussion item, informational, are you action? And where on the agenda do you think it should go?
Well, I've had that discussion. Action, I guess.
I would feel more comfortable if we referred this to the Finance Committee, which Dr. Jim is the chair of. So the Finance Committee can review it. That's just my preference, but. So you want to add it as an action item where, Tom?
Wherever you think is appropriate. Rory.
We could put it under closing activities if we wanted to. I'm not inclined to, I personally don't like adding things to the agenda unless I've received information in advance, so I'm not going to support the motion to add it to the agenda, but I think that's the appropriate place to put it.
Okay.
All right. Is there any further discussion about adding this to the agenda?
What's the key word? What is the, what, how would you, what's the key word? What's the topic? What's the main idea in 3 words or something?
Fiscal oversight.
Say again?
I think it's fiscal oversight.
Okay, that's good.
Responding to the increased pressure of practicing fiscal oversight,
Thank you.
being informed. Really, still being informed.
All right, so I think the motion is to add under closing activities I would say ahead of advanced planning, a reacting to fiscal oversight as a information discussion and action. Kathy, if you could call the roll once you're ready, please.
Tom,
Yes.
Kirsten,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Brody,
No. So we'll add reacting to fiscal oversight as the subsection A for info, discussion, and action. All right. Any other items to add to the agenda? Seeing none, we'll move to the acceptance of minutes for June 1st, 2026. Is there a motion to accept the meeting minutes for June 1st of 2026?
So moved.
second,
Moved by Nate, seconded by Mary. Are there any edits or comments? Seeing none, Kathy, if you could call the roll, please.
Tom,
Yes.
Kirsten,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Brody,
Aye. Okay, and we'll move to the Finance Committee meeting minutes of July 30th. Those present were myself, Dana House, Dr. Jim Manning, and Nate Williams. So would someone, member of the committee, please make a motion to accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Nate, seconded by Dr. Jim. Is there any edits or comments? All right, seeing none, Kathy, you can call the roll.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Brody,
Aye. Motion passes, and then we will move on to the manifest approval. So tonight's manifest for the close of fiscal year '26 is in a total of $6,184,707.32. And for the current fiscal year '27 is $9,168,963.17. Is there a motion to accept the manifest as presented?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Kirsten, seconded by Danielle. Is there any discussion?
I had just a question about, maybe you might not know, but like it was last year's on our school board, like we were like overspent by almost 100% or something on the school board activities. I noticed that, I don't know if it was in last year, sorry. I guess I'll get you, I think it was the June one, maybe. The school board activities, I think it was. Just didn't know if there's any, it's a lot, 100% over, sorry.
Could that have potentially been the Community Relations Committee and some of the events that you had? Maybe as a factor of it, not all of it. I mean, school bed, what is, Adriana, what exactly is covered under that line?
It's typically the salaries and legal expense.
Okay,
Um,
that explains it.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, probably
Alright, thanks.
between legal and,
Sure.
okay.
It wasn't as much, as of right now, it was like 41.
Okay. Thank you. Just, yes, I understand. Okay.
is there any further discussion?
Just someday I'd like to learn more about the school board's budget within the overall budget.
I think Scott, you can schedule a meeting with them.
Okay, that'd be great.
Any further discussion or comments? Seeing none, Kathy, if you could call the roll, please.
Tom,
Yes.
Kirsten,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Brody,
Aye. Okay, And next we will have public input, 15 minutes total, 3 minutes for each individual unless extended by vote of the board. Please state your name and town of residence, and please be respectful and direct your comments to the board. Is there any public comment? All right, seeing no public comment, we will move on to the superintendent's report. Superintendent La Liberty, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. My first superintendent's report. I would like to start out by thanking and acknowledging the staff at the central office, the school district office, for a tremendous amount of support and professionalism over the past month or so as I've kind of oriented myself. Anytime you're new at anything, it doesn't matter how many birthdays you've had, you still are going to have a lot of questions. So our staff has been very patient and been wonderful. I've had an opportunity to get around to all of the schools in the district, met with the principals, and actually a lot of staff came in as well. So I've had a great start here and continue to be impressed by the staff and the work that they do. That includes the custodial staff, as I mentioned, been in all the buildings. Work is coming along very nicely. If you've ever been in a school in the summer, you know it's a minor miracle that they are able to clear everything out, clean everything, and have everything back in place by the time our students come back. So work on the buildings is proceeding very well right now, on schedule, on time. To be ready for the students to return. I know we'll hear a little bit more in a few minutes on Carpenter School. That's particularly impressive in light of what they've been through as a community. So I've had an opportunity to do that. I know that the Building and Grounds Committee will also update on Ossipee Central School and the new playground. That's going to be kind of a special place there as well. So lots going on as far as facilities and in the summertime, as there always are. A little bit later on in the agenda, we have authorization to suspend JICD. I want to thank Tom. Tom had a good catch for us today. Our legal references were off in the document that was originally provided, so our Attorney Lohman was actually able to update that document. So the document that I'll have you all sign for that'll bring us into compliance with JICD is correct. And that was provided short term by Attorney Lohman about 3 o'clock this afternoon. So that is in good shape. And let's see, I think that leads us into item B, which
After each one, you take questions.
oh, I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's okay.
Thanks for indulging the new guy.
Is there,
Does anyone have any questions for me?
Yeah,
Oh, you're supposed to say that.
usually I
I'd
do.
just
It's
like to
okay.
say thank you.
I'm pushing.
Any questions or comments for Scott?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Scott, for looking into that.
Sure.
I appreciate you catching that, Tom. But second, I reread the statute again and I noticed it too. And Barbara rewrote it all and made it a lot simpler too.
It's actually not an easy statute.
No.
It's pretty multi-layered.
Yeah, really not.
Okay, then we'll move on to item B, the Carpenter School update.
All right.
Or is floor Adriana's?
Adriana is going to take the floor. I gave the broad overview, and now
Thank you. I just would like to reiterate as well, I have now met all of the principals and admins from all of the schools. Definitely establishing relationships with them, which is always a good thing as we head into budget season, so I appreciate their time as well. In regards to the Carpenter School update, the project manager, Jesse, has been very accommodating from my first week, gave a very lengthy background report to me, and then as of August 3rd, the project is moving along very nicely and is expected to finish on time. The lighting and the ceilings in the classrooms and media center should be completed at this point. He had indicated the first week of August. Upstairs hallway wrapping around the gym including sprinklers, ceiling grid, tiles, and lights, will be installed on August 18th and 19th. The hallway extension will be taken care of the following week, which is a one-day activity. And the rest of the work in the gym will be taken care of the last week of August, which includes lights, motion sensors, and smoke detectors. So we're on time and budget, and the completion will be done before the end of the school.
Are there any questions or comments for Adriana? Mary?
Comment, I think it's extraordinary how, I shouldn't be surprised that this school district pulled it off. And it's community too, so.
I really have to commend not just the current admin, but also, the
Oh, yeah.
previous administrative staff too. It was as you said, Scott, the emergency management of the situation was top tier, and a lot of comments from staff about the teachers who were in Carpenter School the day the event happened, and the principal, Dr. Eric Kellyan's handling of the situation, Dr. Eric Kellyan and Cappio's handling of getting the ball rolling on this project, and Adriana and Scott seeing it all the way through. So it was a really a Herculean effort.
It was amazing. I said earlier, it could be a case study. It would be a great case study for graduate school programs for principal preparation as far as the response and the community support and everything. It's pretty cool. It's pretty amazing.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we'll move on to the KRHS James Foley Freedom Run crowdfunding request. Floor is yours, Scott.
You have, we'll get smoother at this.
This is smooth. It's a little clunky.
As in your package, you'll see a request for approval of an annual event, from what I understand. It was submitted by Paul Familieri, our high school principal, on behalf of Jennifer Murray DeCarmo, who was out of town when the due date came about. We tried to get this in front of you ahead of time because I know it comes up very quickly in the school year, and we didn't want to ask you to approve it after it happened. So we kind of pushed on this one a little bit, and the request appears before you today for this fundraiser. So,
Would there be a motion to accept the James Foley Freedom Run crowdfunding request as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mary, seconded by Kirsten. Is there any discussion?
I just want to, can I just say how much
Go
I love
right
this
ahead.
event? And I think that the community does an amazing job with this. We have several, not just our track-ish teams that participate in this, but also like coaches are sending full teams, little kids get involved. Like, this is just one of my favorite things to do. And Mr. Carmo does an amazing job organizing it and teaching the class.
She does.
Sorry.
No, that was not, don't apologize. That's very apt.
love it.
Any other comments? Good. I think that was a great comment. That's how we should end it.
Perfect.
Kathy, could you call the roll once you're ready, please?
Tom,
Yes.
Kirsten,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Rudy.
Aye. Motion passes 9-0. And we'll move on to the KRHS Athletics crowdfunding request. Scott, the floor is yours.
Under the same policy, we have a request from our athletic director for another annual event, which are the fundraising cards, discount cards that members of the athletic department sell every year. And what is probably the first of a handful of references as such. We actually did this when I was a teacher at the high school and a coach. We used to use discount cards and fundraising back then as well. It's been around for a while.
It was there when I was in high
Been around
school.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first student who gets to me with one of these cards, I'll buy it immediately. Because I buy one every year and I get my money back easy.
I was gonna say, get a card, they're great.
Yeah, they are.
Dana, would any of your kids happen to have
Yes,
them
my
this
daughter
summer?
has them, but all athletes
Next-
will have them. to-
Next board meeting, bring one. I'll buy one, I promise.
This
All right.
year, all the athletes won't be selling them.
Well, this was a
yeah.
question that I had when it's appropriate.
let's get a motion on the floor and then we'll have further discussion. So is there a motion to accept the crowdfunding request?
Motion to accept the crowdfunding request for the fundraiser for Kingwood Athletics.
Second,
Seconded by Mary, and discussion.
why, football,
Huh?
All right, let's,
why isn't football listed?
It's only specific sports this year. I think only the ones that are participating, they're the ones that,
Do we know why it's only specific sports this year?
well, because we have our own booster club and we do our own fundraisers. So I think it's just those who wanted to participate. I think they probably asked the head coaches.
Scott, do you have any comments on that?
I don't know enough about that piece of it to contribute in a meaningful way.
That's okay.
I
I didn't mean to
know
put you on the
that's-
spot.
No, quite all right. I know that the complexities of the booster clubs and the inter cooperation is something, that's true at any school I've ever been at. And I think as long as they're communicating with one another, coordinating where possible, so that those decisions are made, it can be a mutually beneficial situation, but I don't know enough about this.
Are there any other comments?
Baseball, hockey, they're not on there.
So this, I mean, this has always been for fall sports, and
Yeah, okay.
the athletic
Yeah.
department typically will have, in years past, just based on my experience, they have 3 big fundraisers a year typically, so there will be another fundraiser I would assume, there would be another fundraiser in the winter and in the spring. One of them is a popcorn fundraiser, it's delicious, I highly recommend. I guess I just want to make sure that it's not just football, it might just be football that's not on here specifically, but I
At
just,
the parent meeting, Vaughn said it was specific teams that were participating this year.
okay. I just want to make sure that all the teams have an opportunity to, there's like an equity issue in that, because some of the smaller teams, if they're not listed on here, and again, I don't know what they are they then missing out on possible funds because they have less students to raise money? I just,
Yes, you like these
I think in past years, whatever your team has raised is what you've kept.
okay.
I don't think it's been split equally.
I'm going to propose something. I think we should approve this tonight.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think what we need is to ask Scott to get additional information from Vaughn and to email it to the board.
That would be lovely, thank you.
Yeah,
Because
that's perfect.
we have a fair amount of information and we're pulling things in, but we don't have the full scope
Yeah,
yet.
that's
And
right.
I think Scott would aptly be able to send us an email after Vaughn provides us some input on how the inner workings of the Kingswood Athletics Loyalty Cards fundraiser and how teams opted in, how that was determined, and if it had to do with capacity or not of each individual sports team.
Thank you.
All right, because that's, and that gives you some homework too, so.
Sorry,
All good.
Scott.
All right,
No, that's.
okay. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Kathy, if you could call the roll, please.
Tom,
Yes?
Kirsten,
Yes.
Rob,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Birdie,
Aye. Motion passes 9-0, and Scott will send us a follow-up email with some information from Vaughn, or even Vaughn can send it directly to us too. Someone can send us the information. These are all
Information forthcoming.
great discussion and great questions.
Yep.
All right, we will now move to the authorization to suspend students under policy GICD. So Tom flagged that there were some errors in what was presented in our online packet, so he emailed Scott, and I told Scott, yes, perfectly fine to go get a legal opinion. That's normal for the superintendent to do in advance of board meetings if there's uncertainty. So what has happened is Attorney Lohman rewrote it, and Scott will give some additional details and describe what's in it, and then we'll have to have a vote, and then we have to sign it. So Scott, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, the upshot of this, I think a lot of times this is signed very quickly, it's just procedural, so we move on with it, but I think it merits just acknowledging the spirit of this. in that the RSA requires that we offer different steps in the process. And that as that due process piece unfolds, we know that sometimes student disciplinary issues will necessitate that suspension. You don't like to do that lightly, but when it happens, it happens. And what this RSA basically does, and the board's authorization under this RSA does, is it ensures that there are steps to the process. So anything that, any student disciplinary issue that rose to a level where it necessitated a longer suspension of over 10 days, that we would need to have a hearing. It would be an informal hearing with me as a superintendent. If we could then extend the suspension if necessary, and if something were so egregious that it were to go beyond that, then that hearing would come to you as a board. So it sort of acknowledges that, and the RSA makes sure that's consistent statewide, so that we don't have any arbitrary application of disciplinary standards. So that's why it's good. It's included in the RSAs, and part of the authorization is just us acknowledging to you all as a board what this in fact means, and second of all, you saying that you read it, you understand, and you authorize us to enforce it. So
I'll make a motion to approve the authorization to suspend students under policy JICD as drafted by Attorney Lohman and presented by Superintendent Liberty. I move.
Second.
Second. Is there any further discussion or questions?
I just have a question. So the policy, the JICD, were the legal references there all good, or is that a policy that we have to look at to make it match?
those policy references are good.
Oh.
It was the letter itself was a few years old,
Great.
and there were updates to the RSAs that were.
So is the letter in our packet, does it match the one that you currently have that we're signing?
It does.
That's what I assumed.
It does.
Because it looks like
Yeah,
it.
we could have
So-
you sign the original.
So the letter in your packet aligns with what we're signing tonight, if you want to read it before we do our vote. The letter in your online packets was different, so you probably reviewed a different one. So just so it's clear, so does everyone want to take a couple of minutes to just briefly review the paragraph? Just give everyone a brief moment. All right. Is everyone, are we ready to vote? All right. Kathy, if you could call the roll once you're ready, please.
Tom,
Yes.
Kirsten,
Yes.
Ralph,
Yes.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
Danielle,
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Rudy.
Aye. That passes 9-0, and Scott will pass this around for us all to sign. I will grab a pen out of here, so I'll sign up with the same pen. And Scott will move on to the food service costs. And I know there's going to be some general discussion about this and a few other items. So, floor is yours.
Thank you, and I will adeptly hand the floor to Adriana, who has all kinds of information for you.
The district utilized the paid lunch equity tool, which is known as PLE. It's an online tool, a calculator that districts are requested to use per the New Hampshire Department of Education. Only school districts that do not see a break even or have a loss in their food services are legally required to raise their school lunch prices. We broke even the last 2 fiscal years, so there was no proposal to increase lunches, meal prices. The last increase was in school year 25 and 26, where we raised elementary school lunches by 50 cents and middle and high school by 25 cents. So the food services manager, director, and I did not feel that there was a need this school year to raise lunch prices.
So do you need action from us?
I was just asked to report on the
Okay. Mary's gonna, oh, you have a question about
Yeah,
this
go ahead.
document, but Mary's gonna ask questions about the, our expanded free meals. So, and they'll be ready to answer those questions, Mary, but Nate, you had questions about the,
You just said, you mentioned they have a tool and it's a deficit, so is that like money that doesn't get paid back from?
So when the revenue generated from meal purchases and reimbursements does not exceed or meet the expenses for the year, you
Yep.
have a deficit
Sure.
in that fund. And if you end your year with a negative or zero, well, actually not a zero, if you end where your revenue is less than your expenses, at that point, that's when they say that you should be raising your prices by a minimum, I believe it's 15 cents, but it may be 10 cents.
Thank you.
Don't
Thank you.
you have, Mary has a couple of questions, so Mary, I'll let the floor be yours.
Thank you. It struck me
Thank you.
within the last couple of days how it was 2 years ago at this meeting that we discussed the concern of accessibility for some students whose access to free and reduced lunch. That on the occasion that, you're $1 over, whatever the application thing is, to be able to benefit from that, as well as to ease or remove or address the barriers that that do exist for parents in their respective schools to apply, to actually do that. So that was 2 years ago, and it's just amazing things have happened since then. It always seems to be a Brookfield when we branched it up, and I appreciate what you've gone through, and obviously bravo to the lunch folks to get that all balanced out, because it's not supposed to make any money, right? It's supposed to break even. So my question is about the $250,000 that warrant article the last 2 years, and I had to reread it myself, but I went ahead and wrote it out. So this is my question: what information does the board need in order to understand the use of the appropriation, the $250,000? What do we need to know in order to understand how the district has used it? Are there other figures or reports that would give the board a clear picture of how the program has worked in practice? And what we should be looking at? How's it worked out?
So regarding the expanded meal eligibility program, currently I have updated the income thresholds. So the memo that is posted on our website and that is disseminated throughout communities will have revised and updated income thresholds. At the same time, we have an application online for that expanded meal eligibility program. I would like to say that different from the free and reduced meal prices application, where you need to complete one per student, and every year, the expanded eligibility program, we only request one per household, but that still does need to be completed every year. In regards to how it's been spent, I do not have that information with me today, but I am certainly able to gather that information for you after speaking with my food services director and doing a little bit more research.
Thank you.
Can I add in? I want to just acknowledge, for Adriana and I both coming in new to the district, this is unique.
We're the only district in the state.
I've never seen or heard of it, and it's amazing. It's, goosebumps here that the community is going to this kind of length to take care of any students that might need that extra assistance. It's pretty unique, and that's what's been interesting for us about diving in on it and trying to understand it, is there is no, I know there's no precedent in my experience for something like this, so it's been fascinating to dig in and take a look at this. I think it'd be appropriate for us to include information when we get into our budget preparation, so that you have a little bit more detail on what was used and how and where, because I think just the generosity and the caring nature of a community that would approve something like this is pretty unique. So I think it would be appropriate for us to include that in our budget review each year. I hope. I only get one, but I hope it continues on, because this is special. It's unique. So I appreciate being a part of that.
Today, I created a QR code for the free and reduced meal application. And once this memo has been revised, I'll create a QR code for that as well. Put that on our website.
Thank you. I just want to acknowledge that, 68 hours of hunger, Nights Against Hunger, that which happens in all the different communities, the generosity and the caring and the appreciation that the kind of the rigidity that's nothing that we control, having to do with filling out the forms, and the work that's even happening within the schools. I know from going to all the schools during these occasions where the parents are coming in, the work that to make it accessible. So the more we can do, the better. So thank you for that.
Nate?
Yeah, I applaud, as a parent, I don't like filling out forms, so I applaud that they don't have to fill out multiple forms. I'm just wondering if there's a way that we can't just take the federal form and automatically fill out a form for us. Like,
No, it violates federal rules.
I just
Yeah.
have to ask because, yeah, just, yeah. Because it's hard, I've heard a lot of feedback that it's hard enough to get the parents to fill out one form. So getting them to fill out another form, just, could we get it to more kids if we didn't have to fill another form out? But
To Nate's point, and something I do want to flag, is that in our policy, I believe, it's our procurement policy, we have in one of our policies that each building principal is supposed to have developed a outreach program within their school for free and reduced price meal applications and our forms for our local program. So it might not be a bad thing to report on maybe at a future board meeting, maybe as part of the superintendent's report of how those outreach programs are going to be looking in September, and and maybe some updated statistics to Mary's point. So that might be a good thing to add to an agenda item for our next meeting. Any other comments or questions? My last comment is that it's programs like these that really are huge aids to our students in improving their learning environment and their ability to be ready learners. When I see the state pass policies trying to encourage tax caps on districts like ours, it's programs like these that often are the first that have to be put on the butcher's block because there are mandated services we have to provide. And so when I see that we're going to have a vote this November on a state ballot on specifically our local budget to have a tax cap, it gives me fear that there are programs like this that when we have to make tough decisions if a tax cap were adopted, is this one of the programs that has to be considered? And I hope residents realize how big of a benefit this is and how large of an overreach it is by the state to try to mandate local questions be placed on a state ballot to deprive school districts of necessary revenues for important programs. So that's all, this one included, but amongst many others that people may not be aware about. So, yeah, go ahead, Danielle.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything, but that's a really important point. And I feel like I'm always the person who's like, this is gonna get worse, but that's just true. People are in more economic need than ever. And I understand that it might be unique, maybe particularly in our state, but it's our responsibility to these kids, whatever the norms are or have become, I think are very different than what our responsibility is ethically and by law, and we require that they're in school, so we might as well be feeding them. And it's been affordable thanks to the warrant article, so I appreciate all the work that went into making this happen, and I hope that we can continue to keep it and prioritize the learners we have who are in most desperate need. So thank you.
Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none. Congratulations on your first superintendent's report. Successfully completed.
Made it.
This
See.
Perfect. All right, I will move on to the chairperson's report, so I'll be as reasonably expeditious as possible. So first, correspondence. On behalf of the board, I sent expressions of sympathy to 3 staff members on the passing of immediate family. That's it for correspondence. School care update. We had discussed briefly in non-public, as general information and any further discussion that we can have publicly about it. The board is closely following the City of Dover's litigation against school care where they were granted a preliminary injunction, and we're going to continue closely following that, determining potential future action in consultation with our legal counsel. I don't know if any other board members have comment or questions. All right, then we can move on to the item C I added at the beginning of the agenda. The New Hampshire School Funding Fairness Project emailed me on Friday, they're doing a tour, I believe in every county they're trying to attend to talk about school funding, how taxpayers statewide are impacted, property taxpayers, school districts are impacted, and how school funding works in the state of New Hampshire. And they've approached us with a general idea of coming to our board meeting, providing a presentation to us and the public, potentially having a hearing where we could ask questions, members of the public could ask questions, and basically just an informational session about how our taxpayers could be impacted by school funding in New Hampshire, and what people can do to advocate about it. So, I don't know if we want to make some kind of motion tonight to approve them being on our next agenda, or if it just requires general guidance from the board telling me, yes, put them on the next agenda, but I'd like to hear further thoughts from the rest of the board.
I'll make a motion to do whatever you want, put it on the next agenda, or
Whatever you want.
whatever you want.
Whatever I want.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. Let's put some guardrails around that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I want to put some guardrails around
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Say whatever I reasonably want to put on the next agenda. I think a fair motion would be to invite the New Hampshire School Funding Fairness Project to provide a presentation and for us to host a public hearing on school funding.
Would it be a forum?
A hearing, yeah, it would be, we'd post a hearing and we'd have a hearing at, maybe the beginning of the meeting we could start, to be respectful of their time, but to let the public know, our public session will start with a hearing.
Sounds good.
Just to clarify, are they a nonprofit?
They are
funded by a political party? I just don't want to
They are a nonpartisan, nonprofit, 501c3, and their scope and their mission is just advocacy on increasing funding and creating a more fair and equitable funding process for property taxpayers in New Hampshire. So I'll be open. When I first joined as a board member, I learned about their initiative and their nonprofit. I actually was featured as a local official who had concerns about how school funding impacted Governor Wentworth Regional School District and our taxpayers. So,
No, it's great. I just want to make sure,
yeah.
if they're going to be on our agenda, they should,
Yeah, no, they don't receive partisan donations, political donations, they don't endorse or get involved. They do testify in Concord, but strictly as expert testimony on folks who know a lot about school funding.
Great.
What's the difference between hearing and meeting?
So hearing is like a portion of a meeting where we're gonna open up a hearing, get a presentation, and then people from the public can come and provide open comment, ask questions. So I would imagine a lot of the questions might be directed to them. So we'll have to see if they're okay with that. They're trying to do I think they want to do a more formal event, but I thought it might be better because our next meeting's at the Kingswood Arts Center. It's a good forum for it, and plus, I think it's most respectful of the board's time to just integrate them into a meeting, and the public. We have pretty accessible meetings for the entire district, so that's what I'll propose to them as an agenda item. I doubt they're gonna say no, but if they do, I'll let you all see on the agenda, and I'll let you know that they declined, but So Tom has a motion on the floor. Kathy, did you get that motion?
Sort of.
I'll get it, I'll watch the video.
Okay,
You said it well, I just didn't,
that's okay. And I'll second Tom's motion, because I don't think there was a second.
That's called teamwork.
Yeah. Is there any further discussion or information? Sorry, further discussion or questions? All right, Kathy, if you could call the roll, please.
Tom?
Yes.
Kirsten?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Dr. Jim?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Danielle?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes.
Brody?
Aye. All right, we'll move on to committee reports. So we don't have people assigned because, well, I don't know who the team leads were yet. So, academic affairs, who's your team lead and what are you reporting? Danielle,
That's me.
thank you for stepping up.
Thanks. Happy to. So we had our meeting today at 5 p.m. I'm recalling, did Dr. Beth go through our year in review in the last
She did, it was just a
update?
reminder.
Okay, perfect. So we don't need to do that. So, yeah, so we elected me as chair of academic affairs, and then our next meeting is going to be September 16th at 4 p.m. at the SAU office. And I think everything else is in the minutes if people are curious.
Perfect, love it. Buildings and maintenance, who's leading that? Ralph?
I am. Yeah. At our meeting today at 5:30, we voted for me to be chair. I went over 2 items. Should I speak from that?
Are they, which ones are they both for action?
Yeah.
So whatever one is not a recommendation to the board, briefly go over that, and then the next one, go more in depth so that we can take action on the committee's recommendation.
OSP Central, and then do the New York.
Okay, yeah. OSP, so one is for OSP Central School regarding their playground. There wasn't a whole lot to report out on that, though. What's the?
They're on schedule, and they're hopefully done
September 1st,
a little later than they thought, but not.
3 days.
And then the other, let's hear that. Okay, and then the other is for New Durham Elementary regarding a lane encroachment issue, where we are going to move forward with addressing. We're trying to prepare for a project for next year, but in the immediate action, we're going to try to do a survey, and seek legal counsel regarding deeds.
So what is the committee recommending the board take action?
The committee is recommending the board take action in supporting us to move forward with a survey and a legal.
So the building and maintenance committee is requesting that the board take action on authorizing a survey of the lot and seeking legal guidance from a real estate attorney.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, do you want to make the motion, Ralph? To do those?
Just did that,
Say so moved.
So moved.
Seconded by Nate. Did you get that, Kathy?
Yes.
Is there any further discussion? I have some questions, so. Do you have?
I'll let you go first.
My first, because I've been seeing the emails and commenting back and forth and everything. So I'm wondering, and maybe this is something that we're waiting from a real estate attorney, but I know if we're going to be erecting potentially a fence, because I know that's been discussed, don't we want some kind of written agreement with the New Hampshire Electric Co-op? I know the Electric Co-op said it wasn't necessary, but I'm thinking from the perspective of
So for-
protecting ourselves, even if it costs a little bit of
For
money.
federal projects, we have it so all the states, whenever there's a utilities, any type of easement, there's an easement form that they have to sign. Because if, for example, like they told us word of mouth, yes, it's no issue, no problem, have a great day. But say in 5 years from now, they come back and they say there is an issue, they are legally, they were able to just rip down that fence. It would cost us $80K to put it up.
Yeah.
At complete cost of us, and they don't have to say sorry or nothing. So yeah, I agree. We would definitely, I think, getting some sort of something in writing. These utilities easements are very common, and it's just the driveway going in. That's it, and the fence would be, I believe the fence would be like a good 30 foot to the left, at a minimum 30 foot to the left of the easement. But when we have the survey done, I'll be to confirm that. But it'd be running, parallel with it.
Yeah.
It would be far to So,
Because I don't know if they'll amend their easement, but I think it makes sense to have a written agreement, and even ideally, and I'm not sure if they would agree to it, but asking our real estate, or whoever we find as a real estate attorney, to potentially draft something up, basically to the effect of, we're willing to compensate for it to be a mutually agreeable severance to whatever we add as an agreement on top of the easement. It wouldn't be a formal easement or included in an easement, but there are other types of formal written agreements, so that, you know, if it were to be, you know, maybe we pay $10,000 to erect a $10,000 fence, but we know that we're protected and that the New Hampshire Electric Co-op can't just take down our fence because it's an encroachment on their easement. But that's just my,
Yeah, no,
that's my
peace of
general.
mind, yeah. Due diligence would be smart.
Dr. Jim?
It's this, by having it done, and this is Anglo-Saxon issues, but, you know, going back to Magna Carta, they're the only part, people in the world who put emphasis on real estate like we do. It also protects you against the abutter, and you never trust the other guy's surveyor. Because they do things with surveyors you never tell you. But if you're a surveyor, this is what it is, then you get co-op on board. And believe me, when I emailed you, I said this, that, you know, they're not gonna give that up. And they won't, they never give them up. Even if they don't need it, they don't give them up.
Yeah.
But you can protect ourselves, we need a real estate attorney to draft, to review the title, going back to 1957, I believe, to today. And I do think having a proposal to, you know, get agreement with butters to that issue. And hopefully, it sounds to me like I was a little concerned at first that there may be some animosity between the butter and things, but apparently, when Kelly brought the cleanup issue to them, they did it.
You did. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's
They
good.
couldn't,
Because I know that was the biggest concern, is that they were encroaching on our land, but what is the easement for the electric co-op? And the electric co-op didn't want to enforce the easement because they don't have to.
Yeah, I kind of.
They didn't have much of an interest because it's not like they're utilizing it right now. They'll, you know, from my understanding, they'll enforce the easement by when they need to use it, they'll be sure to, you know, remove everything that they want to remove.
Yeah, I took the easement's almost kind of like not even, it's like the fight is with the abutter, not the easement, you know, and the easement really isn't an easement, it's not like, there's not power lines, like I consider like an utility easement when you see those big ones, like the big towers going across a property to get it to the next neighborhood. This isn't that, this is just to service the utilities for the school. So like the school wants them to be able to access the power lines when when something happened, you know.
Yeah.
Do we know what a survey and an attorney, like, do we have approximate cost of that before we commit?
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to take a step back and do some planning and get costs of what this all will cost.
I don't, yeah, 'cause I
Or
think
we
maybe we
move
should
forward
amend the motion to
committee.
just do the research, right? Because I don't think we can spend anything until we have a quote, right? I mean, where are we gonna get it from?
We can, well, we can approve it. I mean, we've approved stuff with the understanding the admin will put it out to bid. I thought we already had a surveyor volunteer to do it.
We did. One of the teacher's husbands is an actual surveyor, licensed and everything, and he did survey it. He just confirmed, like informally.
So we need a formal survey.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm comfortable, I mean, I think it's worth it. I don't know how many surveyors are out there, but I'm comfortable with, we usually empower our administrative staff to go out, call some surveyors, choose the lowest, most reasonable bid to go out for a survey, especially on something like this. I wouldn't think we need to, you know, have a host of, we've never gone through the process of having a host of bids come before the board. We usually entrust the administrative staff to do their normal procurement and bid process.
But is that for planned, like, is this a planned expense?
Yeah,
That would
that's
make
my
sense if
question.
this was a planned expense, just to obviously trust our admins to do, and to do their jobs, but is this something that had been planned, or is this something above and beyond?
I don't recall this being on the budget that we approved, so that was my question too, is where is this money coming from? Is there money in that reserve to be able to pay these expenses?
You are correct, it was not budgeted. Initially, it would be under, building, code, like building improvements, site survey expense, and then any legal fees associated with the commissioning.
Would you guys like us to take it back to the committee and do a formal process and bring it back to the next board meeting? That'd be better.
I'm ready to take action
Yeah,
now.
I mean-
I don't think it's gonna change the price.
If I can just expand a little bit, I consider this, like, have you ever heard of like the Safe Routes to Schools program, for sidewalks, Wolfeboro communities, it's like a safety thing. This is right up there with it, it's a huge safety thing, there's the blind spot on each side of the school, so like, I would elevate it to a safety.
I don't disagree with the premise of what needs to be done.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we're doing it responsibly. So I agree with you, and I think, Dr. Manning, to your point about like making sure that we maintain the ownership of that land is also really important in all of this. It's the taxpayers' property. But I just want to make sure we're not getting ahead of ourselves and promising something that we don't even know how much it's going to cost in the end.
Well, we had said in our community meeting today that we would take it step by step, and we figured first thing was, get the legal part of it, just get the deed squared away, get the survey squared away, don't move on any of the actual work until next year.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like doing due diligence before the work begins. So that was as far, so we're trying to, that was our way of trying to systematically approach it.
Stage the process.
Yeah, stage the process, exactly.
Principal.
Yeah, preliminary engineering.
Principal Colby Seavey has done like an immense amount of research this summer about this too. So I feel personally, I know we don't know the cost, but there are things that we do approve that in the grand scheme of our entire budget are de minimis cost impact, but that we entrust in the administration to carry out based on a board directive. So I would personally feel comfortable entrusting with the administrative staff to get a reasonable quote for a surveyor and to engage a real estate attorney to provide recommendations based on the survey and based on what buildings and maintenance discussed. And for buildings and maintenance to report back to us after that information with more fleshed out formal. Now, like when it comes to erecting a fence, that's gonna be a little bit more significant of a cost. That I would expect the board would probably have to approve with an exact dollar amount. But these I just view as, it's like site prep for if they were to do regular maintenance on a building. And we have an unanticipated cost annually all the time anyways. And that's not to say that, we shouldn't be, frugal and with taxpayer dollars, but it is also to say to buildings and maintenance point that it does seem like this is somewhat of a safety issue. The admin staff have been in contact with Ralph and myself for the last couple of months, wanting to get more information, the ball rolling on this. So that's just from my perspective.
And from a cost perspective, we're talking, like the survey would be approximately $500. The legal part, I would anticipate around $500. It would be a rather simple, like I think it would be in the vicinity of 1,500 max somewhere for this year, for the preliminary stuff before moving to any work next year. And I figure, we'll reach back to Kelly and ask her, how much she wants to do with this project. Because there really are three components to it: safety, utilizing the space, and third, protecting the boundary, the sovereign boundary.
And that's really important because, to your point, Ralph, the sovereign boundary, at a certain point there's adverse possession. So how long has the property owner been encroaching on this easement in the property? At a certain point, I believe in New Hampshire the common law is 20 years.
Right.
If this individual has been encroaching, now it sounds like they removed their stuff so that encroachment just ended.
We
But
still have a fence up in the parking lot.
yeah, so let's just point out if they're encroaching on it, we might lose access to that property if we went to court. So it's important. Time might not sound like it's of the essence, but without knowing the exact time clock of when this started, without doing the research, we could lose access to that property that's rightfully ours and the taxpayers.
And there's a double dynamic with the safety component. Like I'm talking about the blind spots. There's also it's a drug-free zone. It's a school zone. It's directly 60 feet from the school. And speaking openly of this, there's marijuana smoke coming across. There needs to be that added safety with the fence. I just think my kids go to school there, and I find it very, very appalling. So there's like a double standard, double safety thing going on here. That
The last time we had an issue like this was the Carpenter School. lot line issues. Dana may remember that. There's a certain individual who was been wonderful ever since. But we were advised by the real estate attorney to handle that issue, that we needed that protection. Because otherwise, literally, she heard a claim that she wanted the whole playground to be hers. And the playground was already built. They took the fence down in order to do it. They had to put the fence back up. So this is the problem we're up against. We've got to protect our rights. And I think just the only way to do it is to start with one step, which is survey and then legal exploration. And then plan for other issues.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, well, the motion is to approve a survey to be done on the New Durham School lot and to engage a real estate attorney on the ongoing legal matter.
Second.
Well, it's already motion
Oh.
and seconded. It's all right.
I lost
I'm just
track.
restating the motion before Kathy
Alright.
calls the roll, so then we're all aware of what we're voting on.
Got my attention with safety, so
That's okay.
let's move on.
Tom,
Yes?
Kristen,
Yes.
Ralph.
Ralph, you gotta vote.
Yes. Thank you.
Dana,
Yes.
Dr. Jim,
Yes.
Mary. Yes. Danielle.
Yes.
Nate,
Yes.
Bernie.
Aye. Community Relations Committee, have they met? All right, whoever's on that committee needs to, who's on that committee?
I am.
Us.
Tom, are you, Tom, Ralph?
Dr. Jim,
Danielle?
and, yeah.
All right, you can call that meeting to order. Weren't you the team lead last time? Or- No, you were, that's right. Yeah, but you're board member pro tem, you're the longest serving, so you need to call one of those meetings to order so you guys can organize.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. That's the report. Dr. Jim will organize a meeting eventually. Finance. Dr. Jim is a team leader there. So Dr. Jim, the audit update. So you can provide a board with the current audit update, which is underwhelming but still undergoing. So floor is yours.
Well, what I'm going to do is turn over to Adriana, because she's the one who authorized it, authored it. And if I do the translation poorly, we'll all be in trouble, so I want to put Adriana.
Sure, no problem. So as of today, there are 2 pending items in our FY25 audit that are still yet to be reviewed by our auditors. And we have 1 item that is still missing information that needs to be submitted. This is a new GASB look-back policy, so it's going to be a look back to the prior 2 fiscal years so that they can compare unused vacation and sick time to see if there's any kind of trends or anything. So that's in the process of being worked on. Our auditors have already come into our office on Monday, August 3rd and 4th, when we started the FY26 audit, started a little bit earlier this year. They reviewed our student activity funds and our cash, and started working on payroll and accounts payable, and they will be back August 23rd to continue the FY26 audit. Per the lead auditor on Friday, she is drafting the audit report for FY25 as well as the single audit, and we will be able to meet the August 13th deadline for the single audit update.
Do you have anything to add, Dr. Jim?
No.
Any questions or comments for Adriana or, well, I don't know if Dr. Jim will answer your questions or comments, maybe, but at least for Adriana. My only comment is, we discussed as a finance committee that between some staff turnover, lack of, the auditor hadn't reviewed several things that needed to be reviewed, and one staff member who had failed to report several things during the staff turnover that is actively being reported that delayed our fiscal 25 audit. And it was also mentioned that our fiscal 25 audit was started unusually late than our usual process, and as you heard from Adriana, they're going to be starting actually sooner than has been historically the precedent, and that will continue moving forward, so we don't run into this issue in case there is staff turnover again, or in case there's gum up in the system from on the accountant's, or sorry, the auditor's side. So this year is a blip. I've never seen our audit this late, but it is going to be complete. And I will say, in all of our previous audit reports, we've never had an issue of deficiencies, only minor recommendations. So it doesn't seem like at this juncture, you correct me if I'm wrong, Adriana, that we're seeing any issues of deficiencies. We just need to complete all final reporting. They need to complete all final review.
And then it's posted publicly right away, right?
Yeah.
I believe, so that it will be posted on the website.
It is on the website under board financials. So all of our monthly financial reports are published, our audits are published publicly, and our annual reports are published publicly along with all their state mandated reporting. It's all in one page for everyone to review. Any other comments or questions?
If they have a finding, do they give the SAU and the committee opportunity to actually confirm it is in fact a finding?
You have an opportunity to review the report as well as the SAU staff. And then
Okay.
if there are any comments that we have back, we are certainly able to submit those comments.
Okay.
Typically, we have to draft a plan that says how we will remedy that.
Okay. I'm just used to, I'm always dealing with the auditors, my prior position, and a lot of the findings weren't findings, so it's like you're having to disprove them. So I was hoping you guys at least have that opportunity. It's like they're getting paid to find stuff. So.
We have a meeting, a finance
It's not
committee.
real.
We have a finance committee meeting scheduled before our September meeting because we're hoping that at that point fiscal 25 will not only be closed, but the audit, well, fiscal 25 is closed, but that the audit will be fully complete, all findings that we'll be able to review that. And we have a goal for fiscal year 26 to make sure that the audit and findings are complete so they can be included, or at least some preliminary letter included in our annual report, which is historically the case. Any other comments or questions? We'll move on to human resources. I am busy trying to schedule our initial meeting with WISA. I wanted to start our negotiations earlier this year. They're just busy. A lot of them have summer jobs, so it's just not, it's actually easier for them to schedule a meeting, it seems, during the school year because majority of their negotiating team is folks who are in transportation. So they actually have time during the middle of the day to do negotiations, which is convenient for them. So that seems like, as we get close, I think maybe last week of August we'll have an initial meeting. And we're currently, the HR committee, myself, Mary, and Kirsten are, anytime now, probably this week, we'll get a document from Peter Phillips, our legal counsel, with recommendations for things we should consider during negotiations as a committee. And we'll regularly update the rest of the board and non-public once we start negotiations about how negotiations are going and what we're pursuing, what legal counsel has provided as recommendations for us. So, yeah, that's all I have from HR. Okay, we'll move to non-committee reports. WCTV, Mary, do you have a report?
I do.
Great, go right ahead.
Timothy Goodwin, the executive director, and I recently had a very productive meeting with Dr. Hills about practical ways for WCTV and the district to work together to help tell the many good stories that are happening throughout the district. And we look forward to continuing that conversation with Superintendent Liberty, who apparently in his previous London area, I heard maybe you had a TV station or something in the school. So
We did.
you may know a thing or two about this. So we have a very good collegial, we have an excellent board and staff. Joey, and the beginning of the conversations, well, a renewal of with Dr. Hills. One thing I think I mentioned before, but I'd like to reiterate, WCTV is working and very close to the rollout of a digital community bulletin board. It will take the traditional bulletin board that's accessible, but this will be through streaming and that kind of thing. This is another opportunity for the school district to share school events, student activities, performances, athletics, programs, things like that. We're very close to getting that out, and that came with the fundraising that provided the new servers and whatnot. So shout out to the community for fulfilling the need for that. So we're the second of 3 years, we're well on the way. Look forward, I was grateful for the time that Dr. Hills provided, and great stuff. There's just apparently a little bit going on at the SAU and the new staff and stuff, I don't know. But, so we left you guys alone, but we're ready to kick it up. And I don't know if you want to share it right now about your, or would another time, your previous school?
Oh, about Londonderry? We did have a community access TV station, actually a standalone facility on the campus. Very well supported. They did a lot of integration with electives at the high school. You know, they did broadcast a lot of different events, games, that sort of thing. And, it was just a fantastic resource. You know, extending even to board meetings or commencement was broadcast. So it was a great resource. Strong staff over there too. What I enjoyed about it was just the number of students that we were able to engage through that program. We had a lot of students, you know, Friday night football games and, you know, cameras everywhere. And students who went on to work in that field. Quite a few of them actually.
Yeah, that's the case with our district too. And Joe, I put you on the spot. You were 3 years with multimedia. And I know things shift and things change, but we're in that conversation to move forward. So that's my report, and thank you. I can't wait to talk to you.
Great. We'll move on to closing activities. So first, we have reacting to fiscal oversight. Tom, do you have anything? Floor is yours.
Your action should be very good. Yes, I'd like to make a motion that the board requests that the Finance Committee review the New Hampshire School Board Association's webinar and materials entitled School Board Windows into District Finances, and report back to the board itself.
Is there a second? Seeing
Is
none,
that possible to discuss without? us?
We need a second for discussion.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay.
Discussion.
I've never heard of the board mandating that a specific committee take a specific NHSBA training. I take them regularly and share them with the rest of the board and encourage them, so I think it's well intentioned, Tom. I think every board member should be following the budget process and taking offered NHSBA trainings, but I'm not going to vote to require the Finance Committee take a training. That's just, I wouldn't want to require any committee to have to take a training. I would encourage them to. I think it's an important thing, but to require it and to ensure that they actually did it, I don't know. So that's just my thought.
I appreciate it. May I?
Yeah, go ahead, Mary.
Appreciate you bringing this to my attention, our attention. I try to stay up to date on what's going on in those various studies. That one slipped my awareness, so while you're bringing it up, I'll certainly go look at it. I'm not on the committee, but thank you.
Please do. They've put it on last fall, this spring. They'll be doing a new one this coming fall, which kind of shows you the importance that they put into it. So,
Yeah, that was, so I just had wondered if that, I'm sure that we probably have the authority to do that, like with a motion, but it seems like the proper way, if you're gonna make a change like that, would be to like change our policy about like member orientation. And I am hesitant to mandate something from an organization that is not us, even though I know that we do rely on the NHSBA a lot. And I agree that I encourage everybody to like watch those workshops because you don't have to attend them to see the material and to watch them. So I like the idea, like I agree it's important. I've been thinking a lot about the finance process, just going into a year that I think might be a little more complex than last year, which I think it probably was complex in committee, but the committee did a lot of work to get us a budget that was lower than the default budget. So this year, I don't think we're gonna be so lucky as to have it be so smooth and drama-free. So I do appreciate Tom raising the issue. Not a fan of hard and fast rules. But I guess like I'm glad we're discussing it because I think it's important. And I don't think it's bad it's on our agenda, so that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's a bad thing to bring up. I think NHSBA is a wealth of information. I should share, Tom, I do appreciate you flagging it. But to reiterate Danielle's point, I have hesitation about, the specific minutia of the motion. Go ahead, Nate, sorry. Go ahead, Kirsten. Go ahead, Kirsten.
I'm just gonna say, if we start mandating that people watch specific trainings, then I think it would apply to all the different committees. We might need to be careful with it.
So trust me, I have plenty of motions.
Yeah.
I do like your support, like if there's good information that it would, Danielle's point, get it to policy, right, in academic affairs, right, if there's things that we should be doing, then, the
Well, I
policy.
assume it should be done.
Well, I don't want that, so.
Oh, I thought that was my 2 cents, but it's not. Also, maybe this is something in our strategic plan, like in our workshop. If there were I don't want to give you the job, Tom, of summarizing the training for us, but if there are super specific things we should be paying attention to as we're probably voluntarily gonna go look at it, I'm all for that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's a motion on the floor to require the Finance Committee to review the fiscal oversight presentation from NHSBA. Motion by Tom, seconded by Nate. Is there any further discussion before we call the roll? Seeing none, Kathy, call the roll, please.
Tom?
No.
Kirsten?
No.
Ralph?
That's neat.
Dana?
No.
Dr. Jim?
No.
Mary?
No.
Danielle?
No.
Nate?
No,
Brody?
No, did you vote?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed it.
That's neat.
You're gonna
I can see either way, so.
Okay, that's okay, you're
Six,
allowed,
seven,
I didn't know,
eight,
I couldn't tell if you want to change your vote again. No, that's okay. All right, so that's an 801, motion fails, or should 081, motion fails. Okay. All right, so advanced planning. Future meeting dates and events. The 13th of August, we have our school board workshop. It's at the KRHS Plex at 9 a.m. So I'll see you all bright and early. That's all right. Then, okay, easy. Just, it's an expression, Nate. I'll see you all late and dull. Wouldn't that sound terrible if we just said that to ourselves?
we could just say, hey, we'll see you on, at 9 a.m.
Okay, but
At a normal business hour.
at a okay, I'll see you at the beginning of bank hours on August 26th is KRHS Jumpstart and new staff orientation. August 27th, 28th, and 31st is staff in service days. August 28th is also KRMS and K through 6 meet and greets. September 1st is first day of school for students. Exciting. September 7th is no school, Labor Day. September 8th is no school, voting is the state primary, so a few of our schools will be used for the state primary. And September 14th is our school board meeting at the Kingswood Arts Center. Non-public starts at 6 and public session will start at 7. And all these dates are subject to change, so go to GWRSD.sau49nh.gov/calendar for the most up-to-date dates. And
Finance committee on the 14th too.
we have Finance Committee on the 14th too, yes, and that will start at 5. Good catch, all right. Lastly, we have public input, 15 minutes total, 3 minutes per individual, unless extended by a vote of the board. Please state your name and town of residence and direct your comments to the board if you're respectful. Go
I do have
right
some
ahead.
public input. My name is Kim Keller. I live in Wolfeboro. I teach at the high school, and I'm also on the teachers' union leadership team. My question, with no offense to Scott, and not that you can answer questions, but first of all, I want to say thank you, everybody, for your service on the board. This is like my 13th or 14th year in this district, and it's just awesome to be so supported as an educator. So thank you for that. But my question or comment is about the superintendent search. No offense to Scott, but I was hoping that before time gets away from us as a district, that we have some information about a timeline, and to make the point that we're including all representatives from all the bargaining units and inviting community members to be part of that search. So you don't have to answer that, I just wanted to plant the seed.
I can answer that for you, Kim. So yes, I have, when we chatted after the interim superintendent search that went quick, I committed, and the board has discussed too, we will include members from each bargaining unit. So that will happen as part of the search committee. And we have not discussed logistics yet. That will likely happen at our work session, or we'll have a brief discussion and we'll get more in depth as we go throughout the month of August and get into September.
Okay.
So we
Thank
will
you.
be in touch though with each bargaining unit. So. I don't know, does it, anyone else who wants to add anything to that? Why, I guess while we're on the topic.
Just, I mean, from my perspective, I always appreciate the input of our staff and our faculty, and like it's critical to our success. So my hope also is that you all will have a voice in the process. I think it's really important when we're talking about school leadership to make sure that there's buy-in from the people who impact our students the most. And again, no offense to admin, but that's you all who are in our schools every day.
Thank you.
I would also like to see the public who may not have children in the schools included.
Okay. We'll have a further discussion.
Okay. No, I would say.
All right. Well, seeing no further public input, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Nate, seconded by Dr. Jim. Kath, if you could call the roll once you're ready, please.
Tom?
Yes.
Kirsten?
Yes.
Ralph?
Yes.
Dana?
Yes.
Dr. Jim?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
Kendall?
Yes.
Nate?
Yes.
Brody?
Brody? Oh, aye. And we are adjourned.